manpower, but also throughout the infrastructure. And of course, various tools vendors deliver computerized solutions designed to perform business process testing as well. Existing testing roles are evolving to ensure environmental concerns are captured during requirements gathering phase, prioritised accordingly alongside functionality and other business requirements, suitably tested throughout the development lifecycle, and any outstanding concerns are properly assessed, prioritised, risk managed, and of course scheduled for future release. Greater timescales are now required to not only understand the business requirements, but to understand the deliverables' ultimate environmental impact and how this relates to the corporate social responsibility targets and now environmentally conscious test policy of the organisation. Training and development will then be required to understand the political guidance and laws and organisational carbon footprint targets. Efficient test execution is now not only driven by professional and financial drivers, environmental concerns will become an even more pressing concern, with a greater focus on test automation to provide a greatly improved elapsed time of test execution and energy efficiency savings. Test management is more likely to involve less in-person interaction with test teams, with a heavy focus on less travel, and as a result, the skills of a test manager will evolve to be more like those of a test manager of offshore teams, where communication is critical to the success of the project. Identifying bottlenecks in IT infrastructure is nothing new to the performance testing community. However, more obscure areas of concern will have a greater impact on the environment. For example, a recent blog entry from Steve Sodders of Google highlighted that the Wikipedia homepage has 13 images which must be fetched over the network each time the page is viewed, arguing that inefficiency costs 5,000 kilowatt hours per year, or around 2,000 kilograms of CO2, and by Steve's own admission, crude mathematics were used. There is an interesting quote from Steve, however, that making pages faster is not only good for your users, good for you, but also good for Mother Earth. Having a more energy efficient IT infrastructure with highly focused and driven people will minimise the organisation's exposure to energy prices and subsequent financial limitations imposed on the business. Some expert energy predictions suggest that the IT energy consumption could double by 2021. Now, taking into account energy prices at present and their expected rise in the coming years, this will not only harm the organisation's economical position, but also its environmental footprint. The UK Carbon Trust recently stated that 17% of the 60 managers in the accountancy, banking and financial services sector, who were all surveyed by the YouGov, say that cutting carbon emissions has risen up the agenda in the last 6 months, compared to just 3% who say it has slipped. 65% of those companies in the sector who have or are looking to trim costs, 23% would prioritise general energy efficiency measures, which outranked redundancies at 13%, holding salaries or giving below inflation pay rises at 17%, and recruitment freezes at 19% as a favoured cost-cutting option. They also state that UK businesses could collectively save nearly £2.5 billion during the next 12 months by implementing cost-effective energy efficiency measures. And many of these measures will include changes to the organisation's underlying architectures, whether that be through hardware acquisition or through system design changes, and will therefore require efficient and effective testing approaches by skilled testing professionals. Corporate social responsibility reports are now focusing heavily on green initiatives and the role their organisations are playing to help the environment. Intel and IBM both focus heavily on their commitment to green initiatives. Some examples are shown here, such as Intel joining the US EPA Climate Leaders Programme in 2006 and committing to reduce greenhouse gases to below 30% between 2004 and 2010, and then in 2008 confirmed as America's biggest purchaser of green energy. And playing in their Big Blue nickname, IBM have launched their Big Green initiative to deliver energy monitoring technologies, and their website promotes that heavily. This is just a couple of examples. However, they accurately reflect the importance of organisations' environmental policy and brand reputation targets. For example, the greener they are perceived, the more recognised their brand becomes. Major banks, insurance companies, utility firms and other blue chip organisations are also including their approach to reducing their carbon footprint in their annual reports. And as a result, all aspects of the business will focus heavily in this area, including IT procurement, IT architecture, development and of course testing. and all of which has a direct impact on the brand and brand recognition. Staff retention and resource turnover is now impacted by the organisation's green policies. This obviously includes testing and development staff and has been found to be a choice factor with prospective employees. And as seen in the automotive industry, car makers are finding that bringing energy efficient cars to the marketplace, they're achieving significant gains in popularity and sale. This is not just driven by consumers making moral or ethical decisions. In some countries and cities, environmental bylaws are forcing restrictions on the production or even the manufacture of certain deliveries. The same ethos is applied to the IT industry. Consumers are now found to be looking for a lean and green supplier for everyday products, and as a result, verifying the green characteristics of the IT delivery is climbing the list of priorities. With increasing legislation, environmental controls within the organisation is fast becoming an organisational obligation rather than choice. And ultimately this is a moral issue facing everyone. So, what about the environment? That's the end of today's webinar. I hope you all enjoyed it. Any questions raised through the webinar portal will be captured and responded to via the email addresses provided during the registration process. Should you have any specific questions you would like to ask after the event, please do not hesitate to contact us at the email address shown on the screen, marketing@applabs.com. Thanks again, and back to you, Mark.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks very much for that, John. I think that was really interesting. Hopefully there'll be some debate and questions following on from this. We'll get back to those who've asked the questions within the next day or so. But mainly, I'd like to thank everybody on behalf of AppLabs for your attendance on the webinar. I hope you found it really useful, and I hope you find it useful in supporting your own IT initiatives. So thanks very much, and hopefully see you on the next webinar. Take care now. Bye-bye.